Should I address them? The Subaru's perfect for my job. I couldn't wish for a better car. The unique characteristics of the Subaru car really lend itself to what I do. The fact that it's got that boxer engine, the flat engine with a low centre of gravity, makes the cars extremely stable, and just the dynamics of the whole car, the steering, they just give me so much confidence to perform a better display than I probably could with anything else. I think it would have to be the WRX STI. I mean, it's got the performance, the handling, everything of it. For a saloon car, it's a rival for anything on the road, really, and it's fantastic to drive. I'm extremely privileged to have these cars to perform these displays with, because it is an absolute joy for me to drive them. And the thing to bear in mind is these aren't race cars, these aren't rally cars. These are cars that have had a couple of hours spent on them just to finally tweak a few things, a little bit of extra pressure in the tyres, and the two winning cars are locked diff, but the fact that we can put on a display like we do with virtually standard cars really impresses me.
Handling side?
Both. I couldn't wish for anything better, really. The fact that they do handle so well makes my job so much easier. And it's got the performance as well. We're not using the high performance version on all of my display. We're just starting off just with the WRX, just to show how that has got the capabilities of being a spectacular car, even at the bottom of the range. The first three manoeuvres we do, the J-turn, the parking manoeuvres, are all done just with a fairly standard WRX.
So he said that you must have tried all the manufactured car in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
How would you position Subaru?
Subaru's number one. Yeah. I'm not just saying. I know I've been with Subaru now for 17 years, and now I'm fairly exclusively for Subaru.
Why?
Why? Because it's not just the cars; it's the people we deal with as well. I've got an excellent relationship. Some manufacturers are very difficult to deal with. I can honestly say that everybody we work with in the Subaru circles are friends of mine, and we work together, and that's what Subaru is all about, and that's what Motor Image is all about. It's creating a pleasant atmosphere for people to own their cars, and it's not just my relationship, it's the relationship that all people who are associated with Subaru find. I could be working with several other manufacturers, and I've turned down opportunities to come to Thailand and everywhere else in this part of the world by some major manufacturers, because I'd rather work with Subaru. The display will start with a few individual manoeuvres. The first one is one I set the Guinness World Record for, which you've all seen on the movies, where a car gets at the maximum speed reverse, spins round the forwards direction without stopping. I set the Guinness World Record for doing that in the tightest space. So we line a couple of cars up side by side, I get maximum speed reverse, spin between the two cars, and then we get closer and closer, do it 2 or 3 times, demonstrate that. And then I'll do a manoeuvre I came up with for a TV commercial 30 years ago, reverse parking, which is sort of second gear, probably about 60 kilometers an hour, maybe more, maybe 80 kilometers an hour, handbrake turn, and then slot the car in reverse between two cars. That was a manoeuvre that was actually banned from TV in the UK because it was deemed to be too irresponsible, but that's when we came up with the next manoeuvre I do, which I like to call swift parking, because I came up with this manoeuvre. Because of that, because they wouldn't allow us to do that one in the commercial overnight, we had to come up with something that had the same impact, but was a little bit more reserved. And I'd already been doing a manoeuvre where I was doing a handbrake turn in behind another car, and I thought if you bring another one in behind, it would just add another dimension, and that really caught everyone's imagination and launched my career worldwide. Everybody was enthralled by that manoeuvre. It's been imitated all over the world. I set the Guinness World Record for it. People have broken it back. I've gone and got it back, and you see it everywhere, that manoeuvre now, but that's my manoeuvre.
Do you have a school if they want to learn training?
I don't have time. I'm on the road all the time. My son does the same as me. He's been doing it since he was 7. We first brought him to Malaysia 30 years ago, 1989, when he was 7, we did the father and son on 2 wheels together. So I taught him, and he now travels the world doing the same as me. He holds experience days where people can go along, and he'll let people sit in the car and he'll teach them how to do handbrake turns, reverse spins. But if anybody does want to do this, I just started off competing on rallies and gymkhanas, and became the British champion and the England team captain, and I developed this fairly unique. When I first started just doing display like this, there was nobody doing anything similar whatsoever, and but it's my background with the gymkhanas and a sport called auto testing in the UK is where I sort of mastered all my tricks. I mean, there are motor clubs. If you want to learn how to I don't condone anyone doing anything like this in a public place. Join a motor club where you've got strict controls and safety, and so no member of the public is put at risk or anything like that, and do it responsibly.
Is that the first time in Korat?
This is my first time in Korat, yeah. We've been coming to Thailand. We've done the Bangkok Motor Show for several years already, but Subaru are building at the moment a plant to assemble Subarus here in Thailand. So they're very keen to sort of create a network of dealerships in Thailand and develop the brand here. So my role is to sort of go to the provinces and make people aware of Subaru, and the idea is that a lot more Subarus are going to be sold here in the future because they are being manufactured here from now on.
Suspension work on Subaru?
Oh yes, yeah. I mean it is.
And engine as well?
Yes, yeah. I mean they're sort of tread their own path really in the marketplace. I mean, if you buy a Subaru, you're buying something that is completely different to everybody else. I mean, they have, apart from the BRZ, they are fairly faithful to the 4-wheel drive concept and that boxer engine, and it's, I mean, they are the eyesight and everything. You know, they're up with the top people when it comes to sort of having the latest technology and not just that, safety. I mean, Subaru, they've got airbags, on the seats and on the knees and down the pillars and everywhere. I mean, they're a small manufacturer in the whole global scene of things, but they don't lag behind when it comes to development. Then, I mean, the suspension is quite sophisticated. When you do look at the suspension on the car, you would want that sort of setup for competition purposes. Yeah.
Would we see Subaru join the WRC again?
I don't know. It's that's not my department. But when they were competing, there was nothing that could compete against them. I grew up. I drove in the early, when Colin McRae was driving he was sort of my apprentice. I drove. He drove General Motors products when I was the works driver for Vauxhall. I ran the works Nova for Vauxhall when he was just starting, and he started off with a Nova. So I knew Colin McRae very, very well, and Richard Burns, who were world champions in Subarus, and nobody else could compete really. So if they wanted to go back in, I'm sure they'd be very, very competitive.
What would you tell the audience to join the Subaru families, to be one of the owners of the Subaru?
Well, I think that's as much a role of mine as anybody in Subaru. I'm a great ambassador for the brand and for Motor Image. And my experience, like I say, I first performed for Motor Image in 2001 at the Singapore Motor Show. And at that time, Motor Image only did sales in Singapore. Since then, they've moved out into 10 countries now, and I've gone with them as their ambassador, and I can honestly say that I've been in this business for 45 years and worked, as you say, with all the manufacturers, and Subaru stand out as a family concern. Glenn Tan, who is the CEO of Motor Image, is a personal friend of mine. We don't even have a contract. We've never had a contract. We sort of, it's a friendly relationship, and that's the relationship that I've found, that the people who buy Subaru cars, you'll see the Subaru cars lined up there, the people who buy them want to be part of the family and are proud to be part of the family, and they're welcomed in to the family by Subaru and Motor Image, and that's what I enjoy about Subaru.
Thank you.